Good morning, friends. How are you? Mrs. Barrett here. Remember, this is my shirt that says, if you've seen me at school, you know it says welcome. And what does it say on the back? Barrett. So you guys know it's me. Um, Today we are going to talk about recycling and trash. Now, this book may be a little advanced for some of you, but stick with it because some of the words we may not know at the beginning, they talk about in the book. And I bet by the time we're done, you guys will understand a little bit more about how this whole trash process works. Now, to walk us through this, we are going on a little field trip with Buzz and Fly Guy. So here we go. Let me share my book. Okay. Fly Guy presents Garbage and Recycling by Ted Arnold, read with permission of Scholastic Books. A boy had a pet fly named Fly Guy. Fly Guy could say the boy's name. Buzz. I have a special treat for you, Fly Guy, Buzz said. Today, we are visiting a landfill. That's one of those words. We're going to find out what it is. Yes! Fly Guy loved garbage. He and Buzz couldn't wait to learn more about trash. Trash from homes, schools, and businesses is called municipal solid waste. Isn't that a really fancy name for trash? Municipal solid waste. Here are some examples of things that make up municipal waste. Paper. Have you guys ever thrown away paper? Leaves and grass. So when we get the leaves off of our lawn, that's part of it. Metal from the cans that we use. Plastic and glass. Those are just some of the things that make up our trash. A city's sanitation department or a local garbage company is responsible for collecting, recycling, and discarding these materials. So they pick up our trash, right? We've all seen the trash trucks come and pick up our trash. In the United States, people throw away over 250 million tons of trash each year, more than any other country. Most of that trash ends up in the country's 2,000 or so landfills. Oh, we're back to that word landfill. We're going to come back to it again. Here we go. Landfills are areas where garbage is discarded. A landfill starts out as a large hole in the ground. It's covered with clay soil and a plastic liner. That keeps the waste from getting out into the soil and the groundwater underneath, because that would then get into our water we drink. So we don't want that to happen. Giant landfill compactors crush and pack down the trash. Then the garbage is covered with a thin layer of soil, dirt. Over time, tiny organisms, teeny tiny that you can't even see, called bacteria, eat the trash, causing it to decompose. Ooh, another big word. That just means break down. So it makes the trash break down. The bacteria in a landfill also cause several gases to form. Gases are things that are in our air. It's not a solid, it's not a liquid, it's a gas. So it's just in the air, including one very stinky gas called hydrogen sulfide. Whew, that's a big word. Two big words. This gas smells like rotten eggs. It is so stinky, people can detect it even in teeny tiny amounts. And that's why trash sometimes stinks. Now look at Fly Guy up here. Does Fly Guy seem to think it smells bad? No, because flies like trash. He's saying, yumsy. But Buzz has on a whole gas mask down here and lets us know a fly can smell garbage from almost 5 miles away. Wow, flies must have so super sensitive noses. Sanitation departments and garbage companies around the country collect waste using 130,000 garbage and recycling trucks. 130,000 garbage trucks in the United States. That's pretty cool. These trucks haul the waste to landfills and recycling plants. A typical garbage truck can haul around 20,000 pounds of trash. Think about that for a second. Think about how much you weigh. Maybe 30, 40, 50 pounds. 20,000 pounds of trash on one trash truck. Some garbage trucks use diesel fuel. Others run on a natural gas created from landfill gases. That's kind of cool that they've figured out how to use those landfill gases to help power a truck. Natural gas is less expensive and better for the environment. Many trucks have mechanical arms. Controls inside the truck are used to grab, lift, and dump containers of trash into the top of the trunk. Have you guys ever seen this kind with these big arms? This is the kind I have that come to my house, this one with the little side arm there. Other garbage trucks are rear loaders. This means that garbage is dumped into the back of the truck, and then a shovel-like wall pushes the trash further inside. The crunch sound you hear from these trucks is trash being squished to make more room. Now, when I was I think it was when I lived in Virginia, we had this kind of trash truck, and the trash men would stand on the side back here, and they would jump off and flip the trash can up, and it would go in, and then it would make that crunching sound when that shovel moved it. Sanitation workers, that's what I meant, the trash man, have very dangerous jobs. Lifting heavy containers of trash can cause injuries. Workers might touch something harmful in the trash, such as broken glass or dangerous chemicals. And sanitation workers often ride standing on the outside of the trucks like this. This is what I used to have. So a crash with another vehicle could actually be deadly. Sanitation workers' uniforms help keep them safe. They wear gloves and boots for protection, and their outermost layer of clothing, so they might have things under here, but on the outside, they're wearing bright colors to help make them more visible to other drivers. We can help the sanitation workers too by making sure when we have things like broken glass that we wrap it up so it's not going to fall out at them and they're not going to grab it with their hands. Once there is no more space in a landfill, remember the giant hole in the ground where all the trash goes in, it is covered and closed. And this says, this land used to be a landfill. The machine continues to vent those gases that form beneath the surface, because remember, it's still breaking down, so gases are still being given off. Sometimes this land is turned into a park, a golf course, or even a ski resort. I've been to parks on top of old landfills. But what happens to the garbage that doesn't get sent to the landfill? In the United States, the rest of our trash is recycled or turned into soil through composting. Recycle, 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 recycles. In the United States, state and local governments make their own recycling laws. Starting a recycling program can be expensive, but recycling can save money and the environment. in the long run, right? Because eventually we'll run out of space for landfills. So we want to try and recycle as much as we can. Recycling programs are expanding. Right now, 25 states have laws that say certain electronics, called e-waste, must be recycled. Laws like these are important because many electronics contain toxic chemicals that can be harmful if they end up in landfills. Because remember, that goes into the ground. Oh, look, America Recycles Day is on November 15th. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. Most metal, paper, plastic, and glass can be recycled. I've got a lot of paper around me right now, so all of this kind of paper could be recycled. Rubber tires and lead acid batteries used in vehicles. So the batteries that go in your car, that's what they're talking about. That's these. They can be recycled too. But some items, like light bulbs and dishes, cannot be recycled. Plastics, like potato chip bags and plastic wrap, cannot be recycled either. E-waste must be carefully recycled through special programs. Televisions, phones, and refrigerators are examples of e-waste. When a truck arrives at a recycling center, its contents are dumped out. See it dumping right here? Then the recyclables are moved to a conveyor belt. See that? And that just keeps moving. Everything is separated, and trash that was mixed in by mistake is removed. That's what these people are doing. Similar materials are crushed, compacted, and tied up in huge cubes called bales. This looks like this is a bale of metal cans, right? Those look like cans in there to me. Then the bales are transported to different plants for processing before being made into new products. Each bale of paper or cardboard saves about 15 trees. So think about that. When you take just your one piece of paper and recycle it, when we get everybody's pieces of paper together, we can really save trees from that recycling bale. Let's follow a bale of plastic bottles to a plastics recycling facility. So here we go. A forklift, that's a piece of machinery, that's this piece of machinery, breaks up the bale and drops it on the conveyor belt. The bottles are pre-washed and sorted by color, so they have to wash them and sort them. Next, the bottles are washed and heated to remove the labels and the bottle caps. The bottles are ground into flakes. Then they are washed again and dried. The flakes are melted and made into tiny plastic pellets. Guys, this is so cool. Did you know this is how they recycle plastics? So they make these little plastic pellets. These plastic pellets can be used to make new things. Carpets, fleece jackets, and park benches can all be made from recycled plastic. New plastic bottles can be made too. Nice fleas. There's Fly Guy in a fleece jacket. Natural materials, things like fruits, vegetables, eggshells, and leaves, take up a lot of space in landfills, but they can be recycled through something called composting. This process breaks down food and yard waste into rich soil for gardens and yards in just about 2 to 4 months. Some people compost in their backyards, but some cities like San Francisco and New York are beginning to pick up this waste along with trash and recycling. So see how they have these brown cans? We don't have these here yet in Los Angeles, but that's a composting bin. This helps reduce the amount of trash in landfills. A typical American family throws away $1,300 of food in 1 year. So, some of the books that we read last week when we were talking about Earth Day talked specifically about not throwing away food, saving it and eating it later rather than throwing it out. That's because it ends up in landfills most of the time here in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, some trash doesn't get disposed of properly. This trash ends up in our lakes, rivers, and oceans. When plastic trash ends up in the ocean, it breaks down into confetti-sized pieces. Ocean's currents have pushed millions of these plastic bits together in one part of the Pacific Ocean called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Oh, that's so sad. Look at this. This is a water sample, and look at all those little pieces of plastic in the water. Birds and marine animals think the plastic is food and eat it. Marine animals are things like fish and turtles. The plastic can make the animals sick. Of course, we don't eat plastic. Our bodies couldn't handle that. Neither can the birds' bodies or the marine animals. If you like to eat fish, you might find yourself eating our ocean's plastic trash one day too. And he goes, nasty. Even flies don't like to eat plastic. To keep trash out of landfills, follow the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And look, here he's showing one easy way to do that. When you're using paper towels, don't take 5 of them if you don't need 5 of them. Try taking just 1. Buzz and Fly Guys, 3 R's tips. Number 1, only buy things that you really need and use them until they wear out. Don't just wear them once and be like, oh, I'm done with that. I need to go get another one, because then that's going to end up in a landfill. 2, bring reusable shopping bags to the store. 3, reuse things like shoe boxes and cardboard for art projects or storage. You guys ever reuse your boxes? I do at my house. Number 4, reduce the amount of paper towels you need to use in the bathroom. You only need 1 to dry your hands. We talked about that already. Number 5, use a refillable container from home instead of a plastic water bottle. So I have a cup here that I reuse, and when I take it places, I just put the lid on it, and then it can go with me wherever I'm headed. Number 6, compost your family's food and yard waste. Number 7, use clean, empty food jars to store leftovers or as mini food flower pots. So that's part of that reusing. You can use empty things that you've emptied for another purpose. Number 8, reduce how much trash you throw away by donating clothing, toys, and electronics instead. A lot of times when we get rid of things, especially for growing children, there might be somebody else who could use those clothes, or even growing grown-ups too. Somebody else may reuse those clothes even when we're done with them. Number 9, properly recycle e-waste, metal, plastic, paper, and glass. So instead of throwing it in those recyclables in the trash container, we can put them in the recycling container so that they can be properly recycled instead of going to the landfill. Number 10, rinse plastic and glass containers before recycling them. Why do you think we rinse those things? Because we don't want food to get in there, right? Because that's going to make things stinkier and cause more problems for the recycling plant. So if we put those things in empty, then and they'll have an easier job recycling them. The other thing I like to do is I take the lids off of my sodas. If I have a soda that has a lid on it, I'll take that lid out, I'll rinse it out, and then I'll put it into the recycling. Those are just a few of the tips from Fly Guy for helping our recycling and and trying to make that an easier and more successful process. I hope you guys learned something here. If you need to listen to it again to really understand how it works, I totally understand. There are some big words and big concepts in this book, but I like the way that Buzz and Fly Guy walked us through. I hope you did too. Take care.